We've got a fantastic guest coming up. We've got a couple who basically become phenomenally viral YouTubers, basically going on their travels with their motorhome. So please put your hands together, give a massive warm welcome to the roaming Radfords.
I'm so clumsy, I have to concentrate coming upstairs.
I know, we do panic a bit, both of us, about this. Lindsay and Steve, everybody, the roaming Radfords, lovely to have you with us. You've been here all weekend, haven't you?
Yes.
Have you had chance to have a good look round at what's on offer here?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We have been in every single vehicle, I think, and mobile home.
Have you?
Yeah, and static as well.
Have you been telling them how they should do it, or have they been trying to sell you theirs for future travels?
Well, interestingly, we gave some feedback on the kitchen in our motorhome that we received last year, and they've started putting in the changes, haven't they?
It's good to see the changes coming through.
So
They're taking our advice.
You're influencing
Absolutely.
the design
and
of future motorhomes.
They're on the new Kentucky model, some of the changes that we recommended.
That's really interesting.
Really pleased.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment, see what changes you made. And I know you've got some family with us today. Oh, is it your sister at the back? So nice to have you all with us. Thanks for joining us. But first of all, can you explain to us, for those who don't know about the roaming Radfords, who are the roaming Radfords and what do you do?
We're a family. Our name is Radfords, and there are 5 of us, and we've been motorhoming for 17 years now.
Almost 18 years.
Steve came home from work one day and said, "I've bought a motorhome." It was an old one, a 1989 Pilote, and it smelt of damp, but that really opened the door to motorhome travel for us.
And you decided, obviously, to document those travels. I mean, every spare holiday or any, because you're having to fit with school holidays, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah.
Every bit of spare time, off you go. And it
Yes.
can be anywhere, and you put it on
Absolutely.
YouTube.
We do, yeah. Film our travels, put it all on YouTube.
The furthest away we've been now is the Sahara Desert in Morocco.
Right.
Yes.
Why did you decide to do that? Because obviously it's lovely to go on holiday, but also turning it into doing YouTube videos must be quite pressured at times.
It is, yeah. I'm not the kind of person that wants to sit on a beach on a sun lounger for a week or two. I'd prefer to action pack and keep myself really, really busy. So yeah, it keeps myself out of Lindsay's hair when I'm editing and trying to upload the videos.
Yeah. I'm not the kind of person who can sit with Steve when he's bored either. He gets fidgety and he just has ants in his pants. So
it gives me something to do.
Yeah, so having YouTube keeps us busy. It keeps Steve busy, so I can read my book.
How has it changed life for you, though? Because you've become well known, you're recognised, you've got followers. Is it 36,000?
35,000 probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
35,000, is it going up and up and up?
going up.
Well, that's fantastic. That's quite an achievement. But obviously it means that you're well known wherever you go. So how's that changed life for you?
It's only in this kind of environment, generally, that we get recognised. And it's lovely because the people we meet are so lovely. Steve's favourite thing is actually meeting subscribers. He really gets his energy from other people.
I get as excited to know the people who are enjoying the videos I'm making, to meet them as well.
Yeah.
You know, we have bumped into subscribers as far as field as Florida as well last year, didn't we?
Really?
Yeah.
But yes, generally at these shows, there's a lot of our subscribers come to the shows.
Because there's quite a community, isn't there, of YouTube travellers like yourself.
Yes.
Were you surprised to discover that, and how has that benefited you? How does it help to have other people doing the same thing?
I think they actually inspired us initially.
Initially, yeah, and we've inspired people since to start YouTube channels. So there's many out there. In fact, we have a group on Facebook called Camp Creator, and there are over 250 members that are YouTubers with over 100 subscribers in the travel genre. So yeah, there are a lot of up-and-coming YouTubers creating videos about their travels out there.
Why do you think we're all so addicted to YouTube channels such as your own?
It's a different side of life, isn't it? It's something that I think a lot of people aspire to. It's travel. You've got the freedom of having your own unit with you, so you've got everything you need.
We give people ideas as well, places we go, but we also have followers that don't have a motorhome or a caravan.
Yeah.
The people that aspire to have one, and they enjoy coming on holiday with us and enjoying our holidays.
Yeah, it's like going on holiday with you, effectively. So
they say, "Where are we going this year?" You know, they're all excited. Where are we going? Yeah.
But also, it's very useful to people because you're almost like, I remember the Lonely Planet guides back in the 80s,
Right.
which kind of told you Where's good to eat? Where's good to stay? What are the pros and cons of different sites, for example? That's what you do, isn't it?
That's exactly what we do, right? It's
Yeah.
exactly what we do. And they want to hear things. They want to hear how much that cost, how much that meal cost, how much that campsite cost. What route did you take to get there? How many miles per gallon are you getting on the motorhome? They all want to know all this information. So we try and give them as much information as possible.
So it's the little details.
The little details.
Yeah, I think without the information and the details, you're just kind of watching someone's holiday video, which maybe doesn't have any value for you. It might be nice to watch once or twice, but there's no value that can be added to that in the same way as if we give the information.
Do your viewers ever suggest places that you should visit? Do they say, will you go and try that out? Will you road test it for us before we go next year?
Even on this trip, yeah. We had one campsite that was highly recommended. We want to go there. You know, if you do go there, let us know what it's like. So we did. And we bump into people along the road as well.
Yeah.
And they will... our holiday just changes by bumping into someone and saying, have you seen this campsite? No, we haven't. That looks fantastic. We'll go there next.
Right.
We've had a special request recently that we'll go to Australia and road test that for some subscribers.
Oh, well, you've got to do it then,
I
haven't
know,
you?
if someone else needs it, I'm just here to serve.
Well, you haven't always had the same vehicle to travel in, have you? What
No.
you started out with? What did you start out with?
It was a 1989 Pilote, so I think it was about 4-berth, 4 travelling seats. It smelt of damp. It was brown on the interior.
And we loved it. We loved it. And it gave us the
Absolutely.
bug, didn't it? And the next year we said, we love this. We'd like something a little bigger. We couldn't afford to get a newer, bigger motorhome, so we sold it and got a Caravan. And that's a different kind of holiday, and we enjoyed that. We was parked up on the local caravan park. I'd go off for the summer. I'd go off to work and leave Lindsay and the boys there for the whole 6 weeks of the summer.
And we'd be there with friends. We'd all have either caravans or tents or 1 or 2 motorhomes. And we'd all open the doors, release the children into the outside. And we were there kind of as a village, helping each other's children grow
Well,
up
that's
as
it.
well.
You've got 3 sons, haven't you?
We have, yes.
Eddie, Harry and George. How old are they?
17, 15 and 11.
And they've been on this journey with
Yeah.
you the whole time.
Yeah. They have.
How has that been?
Well, for us, it's been brilliant.
No dogs, though. No pets.
No
No
pets.
pets. We've absolutely adored having the boys, and this last year, this trip has been fantastic. Our older 2 boys are really great company. We changed how we do the holidays to suit them. So in the past, we'd have focused on theme parks or water parks. This year, we included Eddie and Harry in the planning and ended up in the Sahara Desert on dune buggies.
Right. How it evolved.
So a lot of what you do will be thinking about what the
Of course it
boys
is.
would
Yeah,
like
what
to
do,
do.
what do you guys want to do? And, you know,
Yeah.
and they want to eat out more, so we're good with that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
fine.
good
Let's
with
cook it,
that.
let's washing up.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you recently got a new model of vehicle, didn't you? Tell us what that is.
Swift Kentucky 874. It's a 9-metre motorhome, 5 travelling seats, sleeps 6.
Shall we have a look at the first time you saw it?
Let's do that.
This is my favourite fancy feature.
Look at this. Quick little pop-up table.
How cool's that?
And of course under here is where you've got the new garage, which, you know, this has just made what was our favourite layout even more perfect, if you ask me.
Yep, and da-da-da,
2 big wardrobes.
2 hanging wardrobes. And in Steve's is the Aldi heating.
Yes, the wet central heating that's in it.
Yeah,
This is fantastic.
really
it.
happy, really excited to.
Yeah, love it, guys. Access to the garage
Is access to the
from
garage.
the inside. I think George will be climbing in through there. What do you reckon?
Or maybe we get him to sleep in there. It's got heating, it'll be fine.
Brilliant. And one thing I noticed is the new lightings, they've all got USB sockets. There's more USB sockets in here than you can shake a stick at. There really
There
is.
are a lot of USB, and they're all 2.1
High power.
Yes.
High power USB. There are loads. There's got to be 20 USB sockets in here. I haven't counted them, so don't hold me to that, but
Yeah.
it's full of USB sockets. You can charge your phone anywhere you are in the van. Love
It's
it.
nice windows all the way around, and a good skylight above as well.
Well, Steve and Lindsay know I quibble a bit about those being 2 big wardrobes. They're not my idea of 2 big wardrobes. But you don't need a lot, do you? You take only what you need. Is that right?
When we're travelling in the summer, it's shorts, t-shirts, swimming trunks, and that's about it.
Yes.
Maybe the odd one nice outfit. Apart from Eddie, our 17-year-old, seems to have taken a whole wardrobe
This year
He's
he
at
did.
that age, isn't he? You
Oh,
never
he's
know
at
who he
that
might be
age,
meeting
yes.
on his travels.
Taking pride in his
Yeah.
dress sense. In the winter, though, we take a lot more. We take in coats and what have you, and it's handy. We'll use the wardrobe, but we'll also use the shower for hanging our coats and our wet stuff in
Well,
the
that
winter.
garage looked quite nifty. You could maybe stick some stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's put a lot of batteries in there so we can stay off grid for a lot longer. It's full of electrical stuff.
When you mentioned earlier that you suggested ideas to the Swift caravan makers, what ideas did you suggest that they've made, that they've actually taken on board?
My favourite one, and I'm hoping they can retrofit this, that's a big thing, is we have this big cupboard in the kitchen, and it's just a big open cupboard, and they've turned it into drawers. I know it seems like a really minor thing, but that is
Much more usable space with the drawers.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
They put shelves in the upper cupboards, which we retrofitted them.
And covers in the bathroom cupboards as well, so your toothbrushes don't end up in the toilet, because that's happened on occasion as well.
I hope you get a percentage of all these future caravans shown. So your home is a bit like one of the. It's a character, isn't it, in your videos?
Oh, absolutely.
Very much part of the family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What have you got a name?
We never gave it a name, but we've got friends staying with us at the moment. They've got a YouTube channel, they're Slowly Wilding, and they've got 2 beautiful children, and Luna is 4, and she's told me that we have to call it Tiki. So
Tiki's a good name.
Tiki is
a
the
good
name of
Because
our
it's a
van going
Contiki,
forward.
so that's it.
Well, let's have a look, because when you actually got it, you actually had to work out how bits of it work. So let's have a look at you trying to work out how the beds work.
Okay.
This centre table looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It's
Does it open?
lovely. It flips. What do I hold? Oh, there it is.
Wow.
The size of that.
Gives the lounge just massive. You can get 4 people over this side and 3 people over this side,
It's a dinner party table.
isn't it?
Yeah.
How does it go up and down, do you know?
Yep. Watch this. It's all electric. You ready?
Go on. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Up as well. And I guess this forms part of the bottom bed as well.
Right.
How cool.
How cool's that? This is a lovely place to be.
But the other thing is, with our 3 sons, we don't need to make this into a bottom bed because that is absolutely long enough for one of them at least.
Oh, right, I didn't think of that. So we'll have one sleep here and then drop down bed up here.
Yep.
See, that's one of the things, I guess, as you're having to change and adapt how you live in the motorhome with the growing ages of your children. So you were telling me that you've actually got an area especially for the older boys.
When we took delivery of that, we thought that all the boys would be at the front. So the big boys would top and tail or share the drop-down bed, and then George would go in. But part of the compromise of wanting the boys to keep coming with us is that we gave them the back, which is also a living room during the day. So the big boys have a single bed each at the back, and then George has a single bed under us, and we have the fancy drop-down bed now.
I see. So you worked that one quite well, but you've all got your own areas.
Yes.
To
Yes,
do,
and
to
having
do.
2 living areas, one at the back and one in the front there, it's good. When there's 5 of us, we spend 3 months of our lives in that van, a quarter of our lives in the van.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a little bit of space each.
Now, you recently went to Morocco. That was your recent trip.
Yes.
And
Yes.
obviously, we saw you meeting lots of people and travelling around. And the news this week about the earthquake there must have really upset you when you heard it.
It's been really difficult because actually the video that went out this morning was based in that area.
Yeah.
So when we heard the news yesterday, we got in touch with the 2 families that featured in, and other people as well that featured in today's video, and they're okay. So we could go ahead with putting the video out, and
They're a little
feeling
shaken. The
comfortable
girls were a
ourselves.
little shaken, but
Very nervous.
everyone's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've actually, obviously, many people have lost their lives. And you'll have seen the kind of places where this awful tragedy has happened
Yes.
Yeah.
while you were out there.
We've signposted people to the Red Cross as well. So if anybody wants to, if you've been following the journey and these people have touched you in the same way they've touched us, if you have a few pounds or something that you could give,
There's a link
British
in the
Red
video.
Cross is probably the best place to start. So.
One of the things that always interests me is that you set off. You have a rough idea where you're going, but you don't have a plan. You don't book things ahead. Now that's quite risky, I would have thought. But
That's the best way to motorhome.
it?
It's
Yeah.
the best way. We'll book the Eurotunnel or we'll book the ferry, And I'll do a lot of planning. I'll plan for 2 or 3 days and find out where the best campsites with pools are. So I'll have them earmarked, but nothing's booked, because we may turn up somewhere and we may not think it's suitable and move on. Or we may want to stay a few days. Or we may bump into some wonderful person from the Netherlands that says, you must visit this campsite.
No, you always say that in the Netherlands. Is it what is it about the Dutch people who are so chatty and friendly and helpful?
Well, first of all, they're always brilliant at all languages, so that's a good start. But they really are open-minded and have the best tips. They just seem to.
And you were saying they give you free food.
And they give us free. Everyone gives us free food.
Do
It's
they?
wonderful.
Just
Yeah.
come round, give you meals and everything. Oh, well, it's lovely that you're sort of meeting so many people, because the characters you meet are as important to you, aren't you, as the actual travels?
Oh, for sure.
Where is the favourite place you've been so far?
It's hard to choose a favourite. It's like choosing a favourite child, Christine. But I think we all agree this Morocco trip knocked it out of the ballpark for us. The culture of the people and everything like that. What's your opinion, Linz?
Definitely that.
Yeah.
But also, if we're looking for somewhere beautiful to motorhome, Croatia is one of our favourites, although it's become a little more expensive recently.
But it's got the best campsites in Croatia. Of all the countries we've been,
Yeah.
Croatia campsites are the best.
And it's such a beautiful area as well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
rugged and stunning. And because the beaches are pebbly, you don't get sand in your pants.
Well, that's true. So what tips would you give to anyone who's thinking of doing what you're doing? And maybe, I mean, you spoke, my sister-in-law was here yesterday, wasn't
Yeah.
she? Who's just got a motorhome, hasn't been abroad in it yet, and
Right.
is quite nervous about going for the first time. And she was saying you can actually join groups where you're going in a convoy.
Yeah.
But what tips would you give to anyone who's thinking of doing what you do?
Well, the first thing is France it's 20 minutes, half an hour away on the tunnel. And once you're out there, it's incredibly motorhome friendly. Their airs are everywhere, they're cheap, and they're very easy to use. So just dabble a little bit with France, first of all.
Absolutely. And I know a few people have booked a few sites
Yeah.
and then winged it a little bit when they're out there. So maybe book the first 1 or 2 nights.
Yes.
But it's so, as you say, it's so much more suitable and it's so much more catered for motorhomes abroad. Airs in France, Stellplatz in Germany,
And
all over Spain.
Another tip is quite a lot of the manufacturers have owners groups, and they do rallies as well, or they do tours as well. And I was just hearing about a group that is specifically for women, lone female travellers, that is just launching at the moment. So there are lots of groups that you can join and build your confidence that way before you go off and
Because
on a
these
big
things,
adventure.
they're beasts, aren't they? Some of them are beasts. And it doesn't always go to plan, as you found out one day.
It's okay, love.
We drove through the walls and into Morocco's capital city of Rabat. Driving in Morocco is a different ballgame, and some of the cities were challenging. Like this little manoeuvre I had to do here, to get across and through the oncoming traffic to the other side, but not directly across because of the raised pavement in the middle of the road. The secure parking we were looking for was just on the left there, so I headed up the road to turn around, and as I entered the car park, it all went wrong. You see, this overhang here was about to ruin my day. I got waved in, then these 2 guys were watching me at the front, whilst another was watching my rear. He was telling me to get as close to this car as possible before making my turn. He then told me to turn, and that's when it all went wrong. So we've definitely done some damage coming in. Let's have a look. And there it is. A war wound on the motorhome.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Have we just frightened the life out of everybody now? So you know, obviously that did a bit of damage. I know you said you can't see it as much as bad as it was, but it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
It's fairly deep, yes.
Yes, but it's just an adventure. It's like getting a new pair of trainers when you're in school and you get the first mark on them and it's done then, it's okay. So that was just an adventure wound. It can all be fixed, Christine.
And I suppose the secret of what you're doing and why people do watch you is you're not afraid to show the bad as well as the good, are you? And that's
No.
important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is.
And we're going to show them how we're going to fix that as well in an upcoming video. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are large. They're such massive vehicles. Is it complicated and stressful driving one of those, especially when you're on the the right side of the road to them, wrong side of the road to us? Yeah.
Generally no. And it's the first accident I've had. It's by listening to someone else. If I'd have done that on my own, that wouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
I find it quite stressful and difficult.
Do you?
Yeah, a little
Why
bit.
is that, Lindsay?
Just because it's so big and it's not something I drive regularly. Once I've done it a few times, I took a drive. I spent an hour with a friend who is a HGV driver in the van, just manoeuvring, and it's okay. But that first time when you're driving it on the wrong side. It is the wrong side for
It's
the
the
vehicle.
wrong side of the road.
Yes, it's the wrong side. They're all wrong. The first time you're driving it on the wrong side for the first time, when you set off on a trip, that is quite stressful.
Yeah,
It is,
I can imagine that. What are the other challenges? What are the main challenges, would you say, you face when you're on the road?
Well, the number one thing people ask is camp size. Is it tricky to get into some campsites with the size of it? And no, most campsites you find, sometimes they're full, especially because we haven't booked and we're in peak season. But the challenge for me is always supermarket car parks.
Yes.
It's getting in is one thing, it's then getting it parked and getting it out of there. So the big challenge I do tell
I'm
people...
getting a hot sweat
It's
just thinking of
supermarket car
trying to
parks.
get. I was bad enough just trying to get in and out of them in my car, let alone a motorhome. Do you ever think, wouldn't it be easier just to rent a cottage or book into a hotel?
No.
Then you'd have to pack and unpack
Yeah.
lots.
No.
And then, oh no.
The road trip adventure is the life for us. We love it. We love it. We've certainly got the buzz for it, and I'm sure we've inspired other people to do similar things. We certainly get lots of messages to say just that.
Yeah,
It's
and I
a
guess
great
you can
holiday.
take off when and where you want to
It's
without having to
absolutely.
think about airports and flights and this, that and the other.
And we can change our mind if it's not very nice as well. If we're
Well,
not happy there, we can try somewhere else instead.
Yeah, so definitely the life for you. You'd never change your mind and think, let's book into a nice 5-star.
Well, now and again, maybe.
Yeah.
We've been known to go away at Christmas, maybe to an all-inclusive.
Lindsay looks that
Never say
might be
never.
quite appealing.
But the general life is we love the road trip holidays in the motorhome.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
as we saw there as well, I mean, you're very good with the editing. I mean, you really got the drama. It was like one of those trailers, when you go coming up at the movies.
Right.
It was brilliant. So, is that something you already knew how to do, or have you
No.
had to teach yourself as you've gone along?
I taught myself from the start. So when
Yeah.
we started the channel in the pandemic of 2020.
Just
That's-
before the pandemic.
Just before the
wasn't it?
pandemic. Not the best time to start a travel channel on YouTube, and then the pandemic hit.
True.
So since then, that's 2020, 21, 22, and of course 23 now. I'm into our fourth year of sharing our travels and learning this new skill of editing and storytelling on it.
But even at that point, we weren't particularly comfortable on camera. This was Steve's idea. We're going to have a YouTube channel. He didn't even like being in photos
No.
at that point.
Right, so you've learned to become a
Right.
presenter, a television presenter as well.
I guess so.
Both of you.
Yeah.
But you're very natural at it, I've got
Thank you.
to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
We really enjoy it.
it must be an added pressure. But have you got a day job as well? Do you work as well?
Lindsay still looks after the accounts. I stepped down 2.5 years ago from the business to concentrate 100% on our YouTube channel and on our Roman Radfords brand. So
Yeah,
this is what I do now.
We still own a signs and graphics business. I do all the bits that were a bit boring when we set the business up. Anything that was kind of accounts, HR, that kind of thing was left to me. And I still
Right.
do most of that, but I can do it remotely. If the
Right.
pandemic's taught us anything, a lot can be done remotely. So
Yeah.
I do maybe 1 or 2 hours a week.
So it's really commendable. You've managed to build another business that
Yeah.
you pays the bills, but it's something you love doing. You've turned your hobby
And we do
into
together.
a job.
Yeah, absolutely. They
Yeah.
say you'll never work another day again.
That's true. If
But
you
I'm
love
up
your
at
job.
4:30, 5 o'clock some mornings just to fit in some video editing before we get back on the road at 9 o'clock.
Right, you're
So it's, I called it retirement, but I don't think I've worked so hard in my life.
And you don't have to retire really doing this.
No.
But I guess the places you go and how you do it might change as the boys get older. I mean, at the moment you're restricted, aren't you, to school holidays?
Yes.
Have you any dreams of where you'd like to go when you're not having to be there and back within a certain time limit?
Dreams, I think it's everywhere, isn't it?
All around the world.
I-
A few years ago, I looked at the map and I saw that Thailand was land-linked with Europe. I thought I could drive to Thailand, I'm sure it's not as easy as that, but yeah, we want to go all over the world. We say we're doing a recce right now, about where we're going to spend a bit more time when it's just the two of us.
When you get, because George is 11, isn't he?
He is.
So
We've
you've
got
a
a
few
few
years yet before you can, unless you get the family to babysit, or any offers, just while you go off on the road. So where's your next destination? What's planned next?
We're staying fairly local for the rest of this year, and then hopefully next summer we'll go definitely as far as Turkey and maybe a little bit beyond.
Maybe Jordan, Azerbaijan, wherever we can get to, as far as we can.
Yeah.
We're going to push the boundaries of this thing and explore new places.
If you go to places like that, do they involve visas and different kinds of pre-planning?
We're going to work that out. We haven't even done the homework on that yet.
That's all for the future.
So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, Christine. And
I'll be subscribing to the channel, and everyone else here will as well, I'm sure. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you both again.
Thank you.
I know you'll have the rest of the day here to look round with your family and enjoy what's on offer at the Great Holiday Home Show. Thank you so much. Please give a massive round of applause to the roaming Radfords.
Thank you.
Thank you.